I took a perfectly good pedal assembly out of a '64 Falcon, cut it up and put a funny little plate on the end of it. Hey YouTube, what are we doing today? Well, I'm looking at this pedal assembly for the Ranchero. Just trying to figure out how we're going to modify the assembly to work with this brake booster from the Mazda, and yeah, let's take a look-see. I'll show you what I'm learning. Well, all right, so first of all, the bolt pattern from the pedal assembly bracket here is only kind of sort of right. It's like the top two holes will line up with the top two bolts and give me clearance for this, but the bottom bolts do not line up with the bottom two holes on the bracket. So my thought is, and this should come as no surprise, I'm thinking about going ahead and cutting these off, these tabs here, and then we'll weld a new plate. And my thought actually is to, my original thought was to weld a plate that has provision for the bolt hole, it has the bolt pattern and the center hole cut out, and what we would do is just cut these off and weld it back in that position, because we want to maintain the length of this so that these holes still line up in the dash and support the steering column, and then these holes line up, so that distance remains the same. There's a lot of margin of room. These bolts, they set in slots, and there's some give and take. I think we're going to build a plate, and we're going to cut these off and then weld on a new plate and try to maintain the geometry, because we do know the top holes. We're going to use the existing hole in the firewall to index all this when we go to move it over. So let's get started. I hate hole saws, but this hole saw happens to be the size that I need, except it's all chowdered up. It's got missing teeth. We're just gonna see, see if it works. If it doesn't, I don't know. I may have to start all over. Well, it fits. It ain't perfect. I had to make these holes a lot bigger. It's fine. I don't. I think it's fine because it centers itself on this main hole anyway. But yeah, to get it to go down, I had to drill these way out. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what I got wrong, but somewhere in there my numbers, they don't work. I'm not sure. I keep measuring it, and it measured. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, it keeps measuring what I measured it, but I don't know. Something didn't work out. But that, I believe, is where we want that. And yeah. So what's next? I guess cutting the pedal assembly. I guess the next thing is to weld this to the pedal assembly. Alright, before I weld this together, I want to point out that this one I was not happy with. This is the first one I made, and so, you know, I had to drill those holes out really big just to get it to fit. So I had dinner, thought about it, came back outside, and decided I'd start all over. So then I made this one, and I actually made it out of 10 gauge. I just figured 10 gauge would be a little bit more robust. But it didn't fit anybody. It actually fit worse than the first one. This one, I finally came back out, and then I made a third, and don't ask why the big hole is kind of wonky, but at least now it fits, and it fits pretty well. So now we're going to weld this to the pedal assembly. I'm afraid that's as far as we're getting tonight. I don't know if you can see what's going on. Let me see, where's my little scribe here. So, this will show you maybe a little bit better. This little cone here, this round structure on the, where the seal is on the brake booster, it's whatever diameter it is. And what it's doing is, this hole that I cut in this plate is about the right size, except the cheeks on this bracket are a little bit narrower, and that's what's stopping it right now. So what I might do is just put a spacer between the firewall and the brake booster, just like 3/8 of an inch or something like that, couple stack of washers, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Something, it could be made out of plastic, aluminum, steel, doesn't matter. Just some little spacer to hold it away. or I could cut the cheeks on that bracket, but I think I've cut enough on that poor bracket. So anyway, but that's it for tonight. And so as always, if you like what we're doing here, give it a thumbs up. If you want to, please subscribe, comment, that kind of stuff, you know. And until next time, bye. Upside down.